Here is the brutal truth about guitar playing. The number of hours you put in means absolutely nothing. Most players are feeling like a beginner after years and years of playing the guitar. How do I know it? Well, we take around 30 calls a week, and I kid you not, most of these players have been practicing for years but are not able to play a single thing they love. Meanwhile, once we show them how to make their practice sessions efficient, they make massive progress in half the time. That's why in this video I'm going to show you how you can do the same. More time means more progress, right? Well, not really, because this belief might make perfect sense on the surface. If you practice scales for 2 hours instead of 1, you should improve twice as fast. If you run through your chord progressions for 3 hours a day, you should master them faster than someone who practiced them just for 30 minutes. The math seems simple, but guitar playing doesn't follow mathematical rules. Your fingers don't care about your practice schedule. I've worked with students who, before they joined us, practiced 3 to 4 hours every single day, but can't clearly play a simple solo. They stumble through the same mistakes, struggle with the same transitions, and feel frustrated after years of dedication. But once they become members, they start making rapid but mainly continuous progress week after week. They nail solos, master new techniques, and actually enjoy their practice time because they see constant progress. When it comes to practicing the guitar, time is the only thing we can easily count and control. You can't measure inspiration on a metric scale, nor you can schedule those moments when everything clicks. But you can always track hours, which as a result makes us feel productive. I practice for 3 hours today, no matter whether those 3 hours were mostly mindless repetition. This can create a dangerous trap, because if there are parts you can't nail, then through mindless repetition, bad habits become stronger with repetition, not weaker. Through mindless repetition, you're reinforcing these same mistakes that become difficult to break later on. That's why practice efficiency changes everything. Efficient practice means every minute serves a specific purpose. You identify exactly what needs improvement, you work on it with complete focus, you track it so you can have a feedback loop, and you stop when you achieve the goal. That's why I've created a full training where you can download and build your own highly efficient practice routine, even if 20 minutes is all that you've got. You can find a link in the description. As thanks to it, having an efficient practice routine, you'll stop reinforcing bad habits and instead develop good ones. Otherwise, you'll just continue sitting down with good intentions, run through your usual routine and count the minutes. Practice the same songs the same way, make the same mistakes, and wonder why nothing improves. This will make you feel busy, dedicated, but as a result just spinning your wheels without actually moving forward. That's why this well-intentioned approach keeps players stuck for years. They practice harder instead of smarter. They add more hours instead of better focus. They measure their dedication by time spent rather than skills improved. Meanwhile, efficient players make steady progress because they understand a fundamental truth about learning. Practice quality beats practice quantity every single time. The players who practice correctly for 30 minutes will always outpace the players who practice incorrectly for 3 hours. The players who focus 80% of their time on things that are only 20% familiar with will always progress faster than the players who run through the same familiar routine over and over again. This is why some players leap ahead while others stay stuck for years despite similar time investments. Understanding this principle changes your entire approach to practice. But knowing that quality beats quantity is just the beginning, you need to know exactly what efficient practice looks like in action. Efficient practice follows 3 core elements that transform your practice session from time-wasting routines into progress machines. These elements are targeted focus, measuring the progress, and progressive goal adjustment. When you combine all three, your practice becomes laser focused and incredibly effective. Without them, you're just hoping for improvement instead of taking actual steps towards them. Targeted focus means working on one or two specific skills at a time instead of running through songs or exercises mindlessly. Most guitarists sit down and play through their usual routine without any clear goal. They might run through some scales, play a few songs and work on some chords, but they're not targeting anything specific. This random approach leads to random results. When you focus on one skill, such as alternate picking or sweep picking, you can give it your complete attention. Your brain can concentrate on the specific movements, timing, and muscle memory needed for that skill. This focus approach accelerates learning because you're not dividing your mental energy across multiple tasks. And the best thing about it is that you only need around 20 minutes maximum for each of these skills. Because when you combine it with an actual feedback loop through measuring your progress, that's what changes everything, as it teaches you to instantly recognize and correct mistakes instead of reinforcing them through repetition. Most players make the same mistakes over and over because they don't catch them in real time. They play through a scale run, notice it sounded a bit off, but keep going anyway. This reinforces the mistake and makes it harder to fix later. So instead of hoping what you're doing is working, you're actually keeping the track of your progress and basing your answers on actual data. That's why it's so important to be honest with yourself without pretending you practice for an hour when it was really 15 minutes of actual playing and 45 minutes of doom scrolling. Write down exactly what you did, how long you did it for, what tempo you used, or how it felt while you were playing it, for example. This creates accountability and shows you exactly where you need to focus on next. And when you've got all that in place, then progressive challenge adjustment is the third element that keeps you in the optimal learning zone. This means making the bar a bit higher as you start hitting your goals, preventing plateaus and maintaining steady progress. Most guitarists find a comfortable tempo below the difficult one and stay there. They might practice a scale at 120 beats per minute for months because it feels manageable, but staying comfortable means staying stuck. Progressive challenge adjustment pushes you just beyond your current ability. When you can play that scale cleanly at 120 BPM, increase it to 130, 140. When 3-string arpeggios become easy, you add 4th and 5th string. This keeps you growing instead of just staying the same. Thanks to these three elements, you'll be able to absolutely transform your practice sessions. It will help you to build confidence because you will actually measure and see your improvement in real time. It will keep you motivated, as you will know that your practice time is finally working. You won't be just hoping you're getting better, instead you'll be proving to yourself with every session. As you now know, most guitar players quit not because they lack dedication, but because they've never learned how to practice efficiently. So make sure to download the actual PDF file by clicking the link in the description so you can finally implement it into your playing. Thanks for being here, keep the guitar alive, and stop counting the minutes you put in, and instead make every minute go!